Celtic Myths and Legends by T.W. Rolleston. Chapter 3. The Irish Invasion Myths. The Celtic Cosmogony. Among those secret doctrines about the nature of things, which, as Chazar tells us, the Druids never would commit to writing, was there anything in the nature of a cosmogony, any account of the origin of the world and of man? There surely was. It would be strange indeed if, alone among the races of the world, the Celts had no world myth. The spectacle of the universe, with all its vast and mysterious phenomena in the heaven and on earth, has aroused first the imagination, afterwards the speculative reason. In every people which is capable of either, the Celts had both in abundance, yet, except for one phrase about the indestructibility of the world handed down to us by Strabo, we know nothing of their early imaginings or their reasonings on this subject. Ireland possesses a copious, legendary literature. All of this, no doubt, assumed its present form in Christian times, yet so much essential paganism has been allowed to remain in it that it would be strange if Christian influences had led to the excision of everything in these ancient texts that pointed to a non-Christian conception of the origin of things, if Christian editors and transmitters had never given us even the least glimmer of the existence of such a conception. Yet the fact is that they do not give it. There is nothing in the most ancient legendary literature of the Irish Gauls, which is the oldest Celtic literature in existence, corresponding to the Babylonian conquest of Chaos, or the wild Norse myth of the making of Midgard out of the corpse of Ymir, or the Egyptian creation of the universe out of the primeval water by Thoth, Dahote, the Word of God, or even the primitive folklore conceptions found in almost every so-called savage tribe. That the Druids had some doctrine on the subject it is impossible to doubt, but by resolutely confining it to the initiated and forbidding all lay speculation on the subject, they seem to have completely stifled the myth-making instinct in regard to questions of cosmogony among the people at large, and ensured that, when their own order perished, their teaching, whatever it was, should die with them. In the early Irish accounts, therefore, of the beginning of things, we find that it is not with the word that the narrators make their start. It is simply with their own country, with Ireland. It was the practice, indeed, to prefix these narratives of early invasions and of colonizations the scriptural account of the making of the world and man. This shows that something of the kind was felt to be required. What took the place of the biblical narrative in pre-Christian days, we do not know, and unfortunately, we are now never likely to know. And an interesting thing that we can point to with that is that, from what we know of a lot of the rest of it, things could have been so similar as to the idea that maybe the distinctiveness was lost, but the general thing is what was passed on. But you find 80, or at least last I checked, there was 80 non-canonical gospels, and there were many texts on the Paul and his buddies side of the so-called New Testament that the church kept hidden for years, and you figure they destroyed some of it, and I say the church because even though it took hundreds of years after the Catholic Church for the rest of the churches to pretty much disappear, that was, you know, so certainly other things survived, even in that. And if you look at other cultures, it's like, well, people are going to say it's just not authoritative. I read my Bible. And since I read my Bible, it's in my Bible. Well, I hear a relative got upset at me because I could tell the difference between King James versions of the Bible, and that the 1911 faithful to the 1611 King James version of the Bible, that was, this particular printing was popular with a lot of churches. This particular version was particular with a lot of churches, and it turns out that it wasn't faithful to the 1611. It's like, oh, people don't want to hear that. Fine, don't hear it. But don't worry, I got Bibles. I didn't even see the names of in a list of 300 different Bibles, even putting the King James Version into one. So there's stuff I can share with and stuff I can research and find. So, but what is your personal cosmogony?